People separate the IRS from big government. I don't think they necessarily think of those as the same thing. The IRS is a special case, right? Everybody has feelings about the IRS. Everybody deals with the IRS. Nobody particularly likes dealing with the IRS. But the rest of the government is the rest of the government, and I don't think people make the generalization.
It really feels Nixonian, though. Doesn't it really feel Nixonian? And I wonder if you know, if Watergate happened today in a different media environment, and if Richard Nixon were a Democrat and we had this more fractured media environment where you couldn't have a couple of reporters beating the drum every day, I just wonder, and maybe we're more apathetic, but this should be outrageous to people. The possibility that a president is using the power of the IRS.
I don't think there is a big difference. There is a big difference here. There is. I don't. Nixonian was Nixonian because Nixon had his hand on the button. I don't think anybody, even the most whacked out people, are thinking President Obama is sitting in his office picking up the hotline to the IRS.
Find the initials WH. House written in Howard Hunt's little notebook in this case, and then you might have a point, Matt, but in fact that's not the case. That's never been demonstrated, and some bureaucrats at the IRS, which nobody likes anyhow, doing whatever they were doing is a big jump from that to any connection to the White House or you know, the political appointees in the administration for that matter.
The notion that a White House, and I'm not saying that Barack Obama ordered this, but the notion that a White House would have its enemies be the target of the IRS, the power to tax is the power to destroy, and then to this notion that all of a sudden all the evidence, like the tape is missing or whatever, the missing however many minutes off the tape, it does. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It seems a little frightening.
Where's the link to the White House?
I'll tell you, Donnie.
Where's the link to the White House?
To the point that you raised, Donnie, about, you know, it hasn't caught on as an issue. All of us here at this table, in New York, in the media, in Washington, Matt, I think we totally underestimate the level of exhaustion and indifference out in the country to us, to issues like this, to politics, to politicians. It's like,
so how am I going to pay for my Huggies?
And let's go to Sports Center. Yeah. You know, please, enough of those fools.
Well, but how much of it is our fault too? I mean, look, we talked about we've talked about Facebook earlier, how they're manipulating emotions. That's what we do. I mean, go to any website that's actually getting traffic, and the screaming headlines make every story out to be the apocalypse. We're really pushing buttons to get people's emotions.
Matt,
and then when there is a real scandal, of course.
You are absolutely right, Matt. But the key word is that's what we do. But we are not out there. We are not in the country. No one can live their lives as combatively as we do in the media on a day-to-day basis. On a moment-to-moment basis. You could not live your life that way.
But the fact is, whether the White House was not connected, as far as we know, but it should be an outrageous story. But whether it's a Democrat or Republican, if they're targeting groups that oppose them, that should be an outrage to people. Don't you agree?
Well, I do agree. We should correct the record. There are also indications that liberal groups were also
That's what I'm saying. Either side.
Extra scrutiny.
Right.
And so, yes, but I think there's also this underlying assumption that the IRS is a bunch of mean people who target, you know, I mean, anybody who's ever dealt with the IRS.
I mean, there's incompetency here. That's not really newsy, maybe, for most people. And, you know, and the fact that they misplaced all these emails or whatever, I mean, the nefariousness aside, if, you know, after the glitch in Obamacare, which also should have seemed easy to roll out a website, I mean, maybe people are just sort of, you know, more incompetence related to this stuff.
Yeah, I just mean the fact that people are not as interested in it doesn't mean it doesn't deserve coverage and shouldn't be outrageous on some level. We'll be right back.